Hi, and welcome to the Curious Collective podcast, conversations designed for the conscious community to create awareness around holistic practices to live your best life. I encourage you to tap into the wisdom and knowledge of our guests to extract what you need to heal, transform, and live as your true soulful self. I am so pleased to have with me today my beautiful friend, Ivanna Ruger. So I am going to pass over with no further ado to Ivanna to introduce herself and what it is that she does.
Thanks so much, Katie. And it is such a pleasure to be here. Hi to all the listeners right now. So my background is actually as a certified clinical nutritionist and personal trainer. And I've been in the health and wellness space for just over 10 years, over a decade, and super passionate about all things health and wellness. But I'm now actually working, rather than doing consulting work and PT work, I'm now really working in the space of biohacking and nutrigenomics.
And this word, biohacking, is what sort of sucked me into your field initially. I think we've been connected for about 2 years now, and I saw you on a live with another lady that I'm connected to, and I'm like, who is this woman? I need to know all about her. And I think I just reached out instantly, and I'm like, tell me more. So could you talk more into the biohacking and the info that you mentioned there at the end?
Yeah, absolutely. So biohacking, Katie, is something that pretty much everyone is already doing. And so it's really where you're taking responsibility for your own biology, and you're seeing how you can optimize your health and your body by utilizing sometimes it's tools, and sometimes it's perhaps just changing things that you're doing already. So it could be that you change your sleep patterns around. You know that it works better for you to go to bed earlier and get up earlier as opposed to being a night owl. Or it could be that you know that certain foods don't agree with you, and so you experiment to see what really works for your metabolism, for yourself, and you implement your nutrition around that. So it's something that most people are already doing to some degree. And what I do is I take it to the next level with what's called nutrigenomics, which is really looking at how our nutrition or nutrient compounds can impact our genes and our overall health, so we can feel better and we can do more.
I love this so much. Now, you mentioned at the start you're super passionate about health, and yes, you are. I actually, if I need a little bit of inspiration or a bit of a zhuzh in my own nourishment routine, I watch your Facebook story, and you've always got something motivating on there. And the biohacking, I feel, is kind of the Curious Collective podcast. We are biohacking and getting curious around all elements and facets of holistic health. And what you do is have that as holistic in the nutrition and movement space as well. How do you work with people to really nut down what is and isn't working for them, and what can sort of work to activate their body and make it work for them?
Yeah, and that's a great question, Kate. So with, everyone's got completely different lifestyles. So what works for one person isn't going to work for the next. And so I think we really need to look at people based on where they're at, energetically, what's going on in their life, as well as what their lifestyle looks like, and then understanding what's going to work for them on a nutrition basis, what's going to work for them on a movement basis. As I was talking to someone this morning, they said that they got up, they went to the gym at 5:30 in the morning, and they said to their trainer, I'm just spent. I just don't have energy today. And the trainer still wanted to take them through a high intensity workout. Now, really what that person needed at that time was perhaps a session that was focused on rehab, on stretching, on foam rolling, and just calming the nervous system down, as opposed to trying to overstimulate it even further past that point. So when we talk about biohacking through movement and biohacking through nutrition, it's really looking, or through nutrigenomics, it's really looking at what we can do. It's also very much reducing oxidative stress levels for people, because oxidative stress is, massive in our health, and it causes a lot of complications, especially as we age. And it also is linked to so many different conditions as we age as well. So we really want to just support the system now as much as possible so we can have that longevity, so we can get to our retirement years and still be able to run around behind, the grandkids at that point, or, sleep well at night and get up feeling refreshed in the morning and go out and do the hobbies and activities that we want to.
Yeah. And I feel like even the last 2 years in the world, right, has been fully crazy. If you're not sort of supporting your body at the level that you're talking into now, you're not able to withstand the things that are thrown your way, and life becomes a lot harder. So you mentioned oxidative stress. Are you able to go a bit further into oxidative stress and what that is and how that works within our bodies?
Yeah, so the easiest way, and I love using this analogy, the easiest way to think of oxidative stress is, simply cut open an apple or an avocado, leave it on the kitchen bench top. You're going to see that it starts to brown, and that process is known as oxidation. So that process, just like it's taking place on the fruit, it's happening inside of our cells every single day at a cellular level. And that over time creates, damage at a cellular level. And when that damage takes place, the cells can no longer communicate effectively. Systems start to break down a little bit. And then depending on you as an individual, perhaps, what your genetics are, but also your lifestyle, even more so, will determine what kind of condition you might even end up with down the track. So we know now, what your parents had, or your parents had, through your genes, that's only 10% of, whether you'll actually get that condition. Now it's actually 90% determined by lifestyles and what flips are switched on inside the body. And so we want to reduce, that damage that's taking place at a cellular level, reduce that oxidative stress. And like if you were to, squeeze a lemon or a lime over the apple or the avocado to stop the browning, slow down the oxidation with antioxidants, we can now do that internally by flipping a switch and getting the body to produce its own antioxidants by the millions per cell per second.
Oh,
so
yeah,
a lot of people are, we know are trying to boost their nutrition by boosting antioxidants, but they're still not winning that battle with their health necessarily as they age. And so what we're talking about with Nutrigenomics is really flipping the switches so we can actually win that battle, or slow, have a better chance. And unfortunately, as a nutritionist, I know that most people aren't even getting the right serves of fruits and veggies into their diet on a daily basis, let alone the high amount of antioxidants, the 9 serves of vegetables on a daily basis that are organic and, raw and beautiful. So, yeah. We're with that flip.
Yeah, this flicking of the switch fascinates the heck out of me. And for those that may lead busy lives, or those that aren't, I'm going to say this, aren't prepared to do the work to support themselves and nourish their bodies fully, because they're in the do and not perhaps focusing inwards as they should. What are some of the ways that you support your clients to flick that switch?
Yeah, and that's a great question, because we are very much in a busy society. A lot of people are really just chasing their tail on a day-to-day basis, trying to keep up with their work, with their families, with their schedules, and they are struggling to get in the movement and the nutrition that they need to. So one thing that we do is we work with what's called an Nrf2 activator. And what that basically is Nrf2 is a pathway inside of our bodies. And when that's activated, what it does is it switches on our survival genes. So anywhere from 500 plus survival genes are switched on in the body, and those survival genes are anti-inflammatory, so they reduce inflammation. They're also anti-fibrotic. It stops the thickening and scarring of our connective tissue. And then it also upregulates the body's own internal pharmacy of antioxidants. So it's far more powerful, it's far more protective than trying to get antioxidants externally from your diet, because it's what the body does naturally internally. And glutathione is one of them. So
I've heard that word a lot, lady, the glutathione. Can you go into that one a bit more? Because that I've seen it in so many places. So obviously I need to know more about it.
Yeah, so glutathione it's a master antioxidant. It's the second most abundant molecule in the body after water. And it's also the master regulator of our detox pathways, both phase 1 and phase 2. So when we're able to really boost glutathione in the body, we're able to really support our systems, detoxifying, reducing that oxidative stress, again, upregulating the antioxidants and everything that we need to, and supporting our immune system at the same time. So, you know, there's so many benefits to obviously having that abundance of glutathione in our body. That's why the body makes it, right? So, yeah.
And definitely that glutathione, like the detoxing phase, is that like mostly in the liver or whole of body?
Yeah, so definitely we're able to detox, you know, through the liver, but then also it's taking place through the body as well.
Oh, I love that. I recently read a book about you can heal your liver, and it just blew my mind of the organ in the body that's just, it's phenomenal. It's like a second brain, right? They say the gut's the brain, but the liver is so under spoken about, and to be able to have a switch or this beautiful glutathione activator that you're talking about to go in and actually support that organ is, you know, fantastic.
Yeah, the body is truly, truly incredible. And it's just amazing to see what we can do to really support our systems. You know, so Nrf2 is one of the activators and pathways that we really focus on in this specific field of nutrigenomics. And then the second pathway, which, you know, I talk about, is called Nrf1. And Nrf1 is really getting in there and supporting the mitochondria of our cells. So that's what creates energy in the body, ATP. It's what converts the food that we eat into energy. So it's really important for our metabolism. But the mitochondria is, you know, it's everywhere in the body. It's in every single cell in varying amounts, depending on which cell it is in the body. And as we age, what we see is, you know, a lot of people start to, you know, they don't have the energy to keep up with the kids or with the grandkids. They don't have the energy to jump out of bed. They don't have the energy to go to the gym. And so what we're doing here is we're really supporting that mitochondria to produce more ATPs. We've got more energy. On the flip side of having more energy, it's really helping with deep sleep quality, and also our organs like our brain and our heart, because they're so dense in those particular organs.
And I feel like even if you're at the gym, it would also support muscle recovery from a workout as well.
Absolutely. So for any weekend warriors, gym goers, athletes, Nrf2 and Nrf1 activation is super important in your training regime, because the trainers at the gym, you'll hear the PTs, they're talking about carbs, they're talking about fats, they're talking about proteins. But really, mitochondria should be as important in their vocabulary as those other words, because, you know, again, you're going to support your systems. You can train harder, you can train faster, you can recover better with Nrf2 activation. You know, you're going to be able to perform and move so much better as well. So it's, you know, they really are like a 1-2 punch. They work together. Nrf2 reduces that inflammation, which we also know is the precursor to injury, illness, and dis-ease states in the body. So we're reducing that oxidative stress. We're reducing that inflammation with the mitochondria. We're supporting energy and sleep quality. But the mitochondria needs glutathione to function properly. So it gets that from the Nrf2. But the mitochondria also, as a process of creating energy, naturally also creates oxidative stress. So the Nrf2 is coming in and mopping up that oxidative stress caused in the body through exercise.
Oh, I love that analogy of the mopping up. That works for my brain.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it's they just work so beautifully together, and we just see some incredible results with people's health on these products.
Yeah, and I know a few of quite a lot of people that working in your industry through you. And I have to say, every one of you, that your skin and hair is like phenomenal. And I'm like, how do you look so amazing all the time? And the hair, like, always so shiny and always like grows so thick. Is that part of the work that you do for people?
Yeah, absolutely. So Kate, you know, my hair, looking at it, you know, now is long, it's thick. And I never had hair like this before, though, before I got activated. So after I had my little one, you know, which was almost 5 years ago now, my hair was always cut to a bob, because I could never grow it longer than past my chin length, because it would always get really scraggly. It wasn't thick. It always got split ends, breakage, was thin, all that kind of stuff. So when I got started on these products, and I might share my story on how I got introduced.
Yes, please. Yeah.
When I got started on the Nrf2 activator and Nrf1, and then I also started using the hair care, it was amazing. My hair just started growing. It started getting thicker. It started getting longer. And now 2 years into my journey, like, I've got this beautiful long hair. But my dad, who's 77, had a ball patch, you know, on the back of his head for years. 3 months. his hair's completely grown over.
Oh, wow.
Scalp serum. So it's just incredible what we've seen with
Yeah.
what you can do when you activate your hair.
Yeah, when your body's actually functioning as it's meant to.
Correct. Yeah. And see, catalase, which is one of the antioxidants that the body upregulates, also is what, when you're deficient or, low in catalase, that's what causes your hair to go gray. So by getting the body to upregulate catalase, then, you don't get as many gray hairs as well, which is nice.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. And the skincare line is, the hair care and skincare line, they're natural, they're non-toxic. They've got the Nrf2 ingredients infused through them. So the skincare really reduces the fine lines, the wrinkles, brings back that vibrancy, that glow. So we're really anti-aging, we're aging backwards, which is just so cool.
Yeah, biohacking life. I use the skincare. I absolutely love it. I just might have to say.
Yeah.
What I'd really love to know, and you just touched on it before, is how you got into the work that you're doing now and you're so deeply passionate about it. What was your journey to get where you are now?
Yeah. So as I said, my background's nutrition and PT. And so I've always, been really blessed with good health my whole life, actually. I've been very, very fortunate. And I've always done everything that I can to really focus on my nutrition, focus on movement, doing all the things that I thought, we needed to do, taking high dose supplements because that's what we were taught through nutrition study as well.
Yeah.
And so I was on all the supplements, and during my pregnancy and my breastfeeding journey, again, I took even more supplements to really support my system. But what happened, and so I was a little bit, I guess, I thought I was invincible. I thought nothing would ever happen to me. Like we all kind of do, even if you're not doing all those things, you still think you're invincible.
Yeah.
So a year after my daughter was born, so the week she turned 1, I actually had a spinal hemorrhage that just came out of the blue. And to this day, we still don't know why or how. And it really stopped me dead in my tracks because I thought, how could this happen? I'm taking high dose supplements, I'm breastfeeding and pregnancy. I'm eating organic, really nourishing foods. I did pre-postnatal training. So I was exercising straight after my delivery or not long after. And so I thought, I'm doing everything right. So I went on a biohacking journey to see what else I could do. I do have a degree in complementary medicine, so I started exploring, other avenues, and I started chiropractic treatments. I did hyperbaric oxygen treatments. I did dry needling and acupuncture, frequency specific like microcurrents. I went to 2 advanced meditation retreats with Dr. Joe Dispenza to work on me energetically and stress-wise. They were incredible on the Sunshine Coast.
Oh my gosh, yes, please.
So I really started, really biohacking my body through many, many different ways. But of course, running all over Sydney and even up to the Sunshine Coast with a, 1-year-old in tow did get really challenging. And a friend then introduced me to Nrf2 and RF1 activation. And she said, what have you got to lose? So I got started on the products and I had an amazing healing response within 6 weeks.
Oh, 6 weeks. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So after the spinal hemorrhage, I was dealing with severe nerve pain. And I lost sensation through the right side of my body. So a lot of the nerves in my spine was damaged from the bleeding that had taken place. And I was constantly looking for a solution to help with that pain or, pain management.
Well, nerve pain's really bad, as I've been told.
Yeah, it's excruciating. So I decided to give the products a go. I had an amazing response. I was still, just enjoying motherhood. So I wasn't really looking at taking on any kind of business. I also wasn't really interested in going back into working in a gym environment or working as a nutritionist now that I had a child, because I wanted to be home with her. And the hours of gym is all over the place.
They are. Yes.
So, when my friend said, well, why aren't you sharing these products with people? Why aren't you building a business from home, sharing these products, talking to people about, how they can help and support them? And I decided to get started, and I've become so passionate now because it's just, the more and more results I see from people using these products, the even more passionate I get that, we can go out there and we can make a difference, when
100%. And you've got a beautiful support page that I'm in, and just hearing people's stories, like firsthand testimonials of, we heard yours within 6 weeks and the amazing results you had, but like so many, even with regards to behavioral challenges in children, and all like the extensiveness of it is amazing when that switch is flicked, you know.
Absolutely. And, you know, not everyone has a healing response that fast. You know, again, we're all individual, and depending on what you're dealing with, or depending on what foundations, you know, your health is at, a lot of the time we need that time for the body to really heal at the cellular level.
Yeah.
So for some people it might take a bit longer, some people get a quicker response, some people it might take even up to that, you know, 6 to 12 month time frame, depending on their age and what conditions they're dealing with. But we've got some, you know, in that group we've got some amazing experiences of people from activating their bodies.
Yeah, there is. And like you said, it depends at where you've come in. You were already eating the organic, you're already trying all the holistic practices, you're already doing the movement and all those things. So someone that may be coming in from scratch, I know one of my other friends that's on the Nrf1 and 2, it did take her about 8 to 12 months, but the results now are phenomenal, like changed person really. So I've seen it firsthand also, and that's one of the other reasons I've invited you on this podcast today. So if people wanted to find out more about activating their system, how oxidative stress works within their body, and the Nrf1 and 2, what advice would you give to the listeners?
Yeah, I would say, look, you know, you've got nothing to lose by trying activating your bodies. We work with a natural range of products that are activators and that are backed by scientific studies. We've got over 31 peer-reviewed studies to back everything that we say with the products. And they're natural, so they're going to really support your system. Sometimes, you know, people are on a treadmill with what they're currently doing, and, you know, they're not getting the results necessarily. I know, you know, some people are perhaps using some mainstream medicines and just adding more and more medicines to the list as they go along. I've got family members that are like that. And, you know, what have you got to lose by trying a natural product? You know, you know, can certainly help make a difference. And
you said being on that treadmill, like I can really like I resonate with that, because sometimes you're looking for that next answer. Like, I've tried so many things, I just don't know what to try next. It's like, well, you know, what speaks to you? You're getting all this beautiful knowledge from all these different guests. What speaks to you? Go with what feels right for you.
Absolutely. Be your own biohacker.
Be your own biohacker. Look at biohacking. It's amazing. Like, I love it. This podcast is all about biohacking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much, Ivanna, for all of your wisdom and your time today. I've absolutely loved having you here with us. And for anyone that wants to find out more, Ivanna's details will be in the subject of the podcast. Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Kate. And thank you to all the listeners.
Yeah. Bye.